Hi. You're on.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 20. We did it, man. It's not the century.
Pretty amazing. 20 episodes, you're right. It's pretty amazing that we've continued this.
Yeah, just a couple dudes having fun talking. Nice stogie, by the way.
It's
I
a
know
Swisher Sweets, which this is so much better than what I remember back in the day. I got one from this local liquor store, and it's like it doesn't have the filter on it. It's like a real cigar. I'm loving this.
it's got that, like, is it like a chocolate flavor?
This
A
one's
little bit?
grape. This one's grape. It's all different flavors, but somehow without that filter, that little piece that they put on there, you know that you inhale through, that little plastic piece, somehow it's so much better. I mean, it's still cancerous, but I'm enjoying it so much more. I'm like, what is this? And I hope the people of YouTube understand that. Like, I almost started this place on fire because they didn't want us to go live. We must be doing something right. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but why is it have to be that difficult?
One, it's funny because my neighbor Jose's sitting here and he's waiting. He's like, I want to hear this one because it's going to be a good one.
This will be
And
interesting.
and Sarah, I think, is watching. She keeps sending me texts. She's like, "You're not on yet." I'm like, "Yeah, technical difficulties, but I'm pretty sure God is not happy with us right now, for
The
whatever reason."
YouTube gods, the YouTube gods, those fucking corporate assholes are not happy with us.
Yeah, but come on, man. Like, I had a weird plan. Look at the dust on this thing, and I actually started to try to read a little bit of it, and I might in a little while too. It's I'm not a religious person, but then I found another book that I like, and I'm not good at following either.
I'm
And I
seeing
just
I'm seeing it in reverse. So that one that you just pulled up, what does that say? What's the title?
Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yes, let me be anonymous.
So I just I have a lot of books in my house, but these are the two that just kind of sit under the table, and I don't really read them. Sorry, dog.
Who's that gnome? Who's that gnome? Who's that genome? Is that a friend of yours?
No, it's not. Not that I know of.
Who are you?
Hi, by the way.
There's my toaster.
Welcome to the show.
I had to ignite this via toaster, right, Charlie? And I almost started this place on fire because these YouTube people didn't want us to get started. Or it shouldn't be that difficult. We're not changing the world, but I really think that they just want to suppress um people that are non-elites, people that are not, extremely rich, um to possibly obtaining an audience. They want to make sure that doesn't happen. I know that for a fact. It happened prior to 2010 or 2012 probably, and they don't want that to go any further because they want to have to buy any more people off. Would you be bought off if they offered you a bunch of money to become like a right winger? Would you
Me?
allow them to buy you off? I don't think I
No.
would. I don't think I could be bought off. I at this point I just can't. I made a pact with myself when I was 33 that I would never ever allow that I would never um contradict my values as a person for money.
Yeah, I don't know when I made that agreement with myself, but I am not for sale. I don't pick a side. I am me. I am who I am. I'm
You're gonna
very
say what
self.
you want to say.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna hide behind it either. I mean, I've been wrong several times, but I have no problems admitting that. It's these people that change their minds all the time and make stupid comments and contradictions. Don't don't fuck with me on that. I'm not doing that. It's me versus me.
Yeah, there are creators, there are YouTube creators that I really liked that I were just like Jimmy Dore being one of them was just a person like I just love this guy and I feel like he's sold out. You know, he even said on his videos or fairly early on it's like, "Hey, I am totally willing to sell out. They just haven't asked yet." And it's totally obvious that he's sold out. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I got distracted, and I'll be straight up honest, and he'll find out right away. So my neighbor is sitting there, and he's the Papa Bear that said hi. I don't know if you saw that one.
Oh yeah, there he is. How's it going, my
Yeah.
friend? Nice talking with you.
So, so he had to walk away because I could hear our echo. It's like a delay. So everything I was saying and everything you were saying was happening right here
That's very
inside of my.
distracting. Is
Yeah,
that
and I
still
was like,
happening?
I can't. No, he left
Oh,
and went.
because he had his phone nearby or his computer or whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah, definitely not his fault. I'm glad he's watching. He might be sitting in my living room. He might be sitting on my bed in there. I don't know. But I'm hoping that Sarah's watching because I asked her to join us again. One of our old friends, one of our only live guests that we've had. But hey, we had one, you know.
Yeah.
And so tonight's topic, I love it because we kind of always go like, "What do you want to talk about?" And then we start off somewhere and end up. And then I have to comment on the outfits. I'm actually wearing a polo.
I
It's
like
very
it.
tight. And then you're very proper with your collar sticking through. And
This is
um,
the best either of us have dressed, I think.
yeah, I never change. Like I always wear the same thing. I have this T-shirt and that T-shirt, and that's what I wear, or this hoodie or that hoodie.
Yeah,
Um,
I went to turn in a resume, so that's why I'm wearing this.
very good, very good. Um, but so tonight's topic, I wanted to talk about religion, and I think it's ironic too because you kind of look like some sort of priest or something. Um, just the collar. It's just the collar.
Yeah.
And then um, I actually have an outfit change. I was planning because I'm just bored. So we'll see if that happens. We got, I don't know, another 40 minutes there.
And the
But
Pope passed away. The Pope passed
yeah,
away
so
recently.
yeah, so that was the ironic thing. I'm like, we've been talking about doing a religion/spirituality show for a while, and all of a sudden the Pope passed away the day after Easter.
Right after
And
he met with JD Vance.
smoke that, snort that. I mean, he's 88, but I think
Wow.
and not being a religious person by any means. I do have a Bible that someone gave me. I've read some of it, most of it actually, throughout my life. I was raised Baptist. We'll get more into that stuff later. I am not religious at all, but to see this, the people that are talking about the guy, they're talking about like he's a good human being, and I think that's what's important. He wasn't necessarily in my mind a religious figure. He was a human figure, and so yeah, it's sad to see someone with that kind of perspective over people, and someone some people could admire and go, yeah, it's okay to be me because I don't feel judged. Like you're only allowed to be this way or that way. I don't think Pope Francis came across that way from what I've understood, and so it's sad that we're talking about this now because we didn't plan to. But at the end of the day, I'm just gonna jump in and be me. I don't like religion. I don't like control. I don't like people telling me I have to believe this or that. I believe what I believe. I've formed my own opinions. And growing up the way I did, I get judged a lot. But I think the people that judge us the most are ourselves.
What if God was one of us?
Dude,
Just
he
a
was just
slob like one of us. That's what Papa Bear is saying. Who is that artist? I can't remember the lady. It was a female singer.
Papa Bear has to answer it. And I know he's watching from my living
Yeah,
room.
what's her name? I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. Would you say that you're an atheist? Would you say that you're agnostic? It wasn't the Cranberries. It wasn't. It was a solo artist. Maybe you could Google that for us.
I want to say Alanis Morissette, but it wasn't. It was someone
It was
else.
somebody similar to that. She had like a nose ring. She had blonde curly hair. I can see her right now. But it wasn't Alanis Morissette. It wasn't the Cranberries. But it was a solo artist, kind of in that vein. But anyway, would you consider yourself to be an atheist, an agnostic? What would you say? Joan,
Joan Osborne.
maybe. Yeah, I think so.
He
I think you're right.
Yeah, he looked it up. I know he did.
Yeah, I think you're right.
What'll be interesting if he answers the question. Joan freaking Osborne.
Well,
The atheist thing. What do you think, Papa Bear?
how
Where are you?
how do you answer? How do you answer?
Me?
Yeah.
I'd like to say more agnostic, but I do because I think I believe in several gods. I'm more of like a Buddhist. Like if you ask me what happens when I die, I'll say I hope that we become everything: the dirt, the wind, super hippie.
Dave Matthews, man. He's a
Yeah,
jokester, isn't he?
Dave Matthews Band. That's I hope I become Dave
It's
Matthews.
definitely it's definitely the Dave Matthews Band.
It was Dave Matthews. No, I just I don't know. I don't think like I don't feel like I have to believe in something that everybody tells me to fucking believe in. I just don't. I've watched people die. I've gone through some shit. We all have, and I can't sit here and go just because you said it, just because this book tells me it, that I have to believe that. I don't. And I was fortunate, very fortunate, to grow up in a family where my mom was super Christian, read the Bible every day, read scripture every day. My dad was a little bit more open, but he was telling the other day he wants to join a church. He's 80, going to be 81 this year, and he wants to join a church. And I'm like, cool. No one's going to judge you. But it's almost like the Trumpsters to me, the fucking far extreme monkey. Oh, what's up? Um, what's up, monkey? And so I just go, I don't want I don't want to judge anyone, and I don't want to be judged. Treat people, and it says it in the fucking Bible 1,000 times. But at the same time, as soon as you cross God, you're fucked. Like he's gonna curse you, and you're going to hell. Fuck is hell? How is this not hell? How is this world not hell? And I just in my 45 years, I have a pretty good life. I'm very fortunate, but at the same time, I look around and go, this this could be a little bit better. If there's this God that allows rapists and all the shit, and we hear it all the time. There's plenty of arguments on any side, but I just stick with I've learned to follow my own heart, and it hasn't guided me in the best ways, but it's helped me a lot more than a fucking book has, and a belief. And
Yeah.
again, fortunately, my hell is worth it. Hell is working with a certain coworker, and I know her name. I know who
That's
this is.
true.
And you,
Papa Bear is
um,
saying hell is working with a certain coworker. That that couldn't be more true.
good stuff.
Yeah, that's funny.
And honestly, anyone in these comments, if you've ever watched this show or if you haven't, if you know me, tell me to shut the fuck up because I don't let Dr. Og talk enough. And yeah, thank you.
Well, no, no, you're good. You're a nice guy. You really, I think you like Bill Burr a lot, but and he's cool, but you're just you're a nicer, I mean, I don't know him either, but I think you have a better personality than he does.
I'm sorry, but you have to understand, Dr. Og, Jose just yelled at me from in my house and said, "Shut the fuck up."
Well, we got to talk, right? I mean, I can't be dead online air. I mean, we have to say something. Like I always wanted to get into entertainment. I always wanted to be in the entertainment business for forever, for my entire life. And then I realized it's like I don't Stuart can attest to this. I don't say anything. I just sit back and observe people and it's like that's not being an entertainer. So I realized I had to like actually say something. If I wanted to be involved in media or something like that, I had to like talk. But I would say that I'm a strong atheist, weak agnostic. Meaning, at the end of the day, I am an agnostic, but I truly believe there is no afterlife and there's no God. But I can't say that 100%. I can't. No, who can prove that? Who could prove one way or the other? We don't know. We just don't know.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
but I just that's what I believe, that there's no afterlife, there's no God. I've got a lot to say about this. I think my Swisher Sweet went out. That is a shame. Okay. Well, here's my feeling about the universe. I've never heard one other person say this. My feeling about the universe is I think there was a Big Bang. I think there absolutely was. But I think that's something that happens over and over and over again. Because look at it this way: when the sun goes out, it becomes a black hole. When any star goes out, it becomes a black hole, and then the black hole, they say that it kind of eats up the matter around it, and it sucks into its it takes everything in, and it's just this mass that it takes all matter in, and I think you know eventually these black holes sort of combine and eat up the entire universe, and then it becomes a giant, and then there's just this unbelievable like congestion, and then it explodes, and then you have another big bang. It eats up everything around it. They combine, and it takes billions, if not trillions of years, but eventually it eats up everything and then it explodes again. I've never heard anyone else say that. I've never heard any astronomist or cosmologist or cosmetologist, for that matter, say that. But I think that is very possible. A star dies, it becomes a black hole, and then any matter that goes inside it, gets pulled in, and you have this very dense material. You know, you can only you can only do that so much before it's gonna explode, and I think that's what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it basically becomes nothing.
Yeah, well, like, so it sucks in planets, it sucks in other stars, it sucks in any material, asteroids, any material that's out there, and then they combine. And also, a black hole can mix with another black hole, so then it just becomes this dense one black hole at the very end, and then it explodes again, and then the universe starts again. And that could probably take trillions of years, but I think that's very plausible.
So interesting. It's always interesting. We've got Sarah's on now. Hi, Sarah. And Monkey. I want to know where Monkey's from. Papa Bear says howdy to everybody. Monkey's going, what's up? But so I wrote this thing to Papa Bear earlier, and especially when I'm drinking, I get a little bit more philosophical, and I just come up with these weird little, I don't know what you call it, like an ideology. But I said, everything starts from nothing.
Right, right. So I watch this YouTube channel quite a bit, and it's called, oh, God, I can't remember the name of it. It's called Closer to the Truth. This really smart guy, and it's interesting because he's like obsessed with this question that he has, and his question is, why is there something rather than nothing? He said he had this question when he was like 11 years old. Why? And it just drove him nuts, and it scared him, and it scares the hell out of me too. It actually happened to me when I was like probably around 4 years old. Why is there something rather than nothing? And that'll drive you absolutely nuts thinking about that. And that's a great question. That's a great question. There's something called the Higgs field. Um, in the Higgs boson, and that's what gives objects matter. That's what enables something, an element to have matter, is the Higgs boson and the Higgs field. But why do those exist? You can keep going back further. Why does the Higgs boson exist? Why does the Higgs field exist? Why are these entities that exist somehow? That's a great question. And that's like when I was a little kid, when I was like 4 years old, I was like, okay, so there's a universe, but what's at the end of the universe? Is the universe everything that exists? Is the universe is just the stars and the planets? What's at the end of the is there some what's behind that? What's behind that wall? Is there a wall? There has to be something behind that. Like, what is the universe infinite? I used to work with this really intelligent person that wrote a book about this Jewish guy, Michael Perelstein. He wrote a book about this, and what he said is the universe has always been here. It's always existed, and there cannot be an end to the universe because it's always existed. But he also said the universe had a limit, and that's where I differ with him. I don't know how it could possibly be limited. I don't know how there could possibly be an end to it. When you really think about it, how could there possibly be an end to the universe? It must extend forever. Because when you start thinking about that, it's like, okay, well, what's beyond that? And what's beyond that? It's something to think about.
Being our topic was religion and
Right.
spirituality was what I picked. But so spirituality, I I meant to. I wanted to. We kind of got distracted with our difficulties here, but I wanted to start the episode with let's piss some people off. But then I kind of thought, like, okay, maybe you're gonna get pissed, but more than anything, let's think about some stuff, you know. And so, we've all experienced at our age a little bit of death, some closer than others, and intimately more than others. And I remember just what a glorious, I'm going to call it glorious thing to watch I got to watch my mom die. I got to like be there with her for the last 48 hours and then go. Actually, I also got to spend a whole life with her before that, 40 years with her. But it's just so special to be able to, and I think that's part of my spiritual side of things, that I don't see an end in things. And Sarah, thank you for telling me I look great. You can't see my belly. It's just fat. But I hope you're well and love you too, my dear. But you know this about me, Sarah, that I don't believe in an end. Like, I've never been able to say goodbye. I always say see you later, because I just feel like that's the universe. That's the universe I live in. I'll see you later. It sucks when that happens with dogs, especially. I think I've had to watch. I've gotten to watch 9 dogs in my life go down, and it's sad as fuck, man. But I always know I'll see you later, and I dream about them sometimes. It's fucking awesome. It doesn't
Well,
make it easy.
let me ask you this. I feel like I should have died so many times already, and for some reason I'm still here. And another thing they talk about on that show, Closer to the Truth, is one of the scientists or whomever says, um, we have maybe it's possible that we have like we're experiencing our longest life, and then we get to experience that until to till the very end. So we get to experience how many deaths that we have in us, um, until our last one. Do you see what I'm saying? Like maybe the people around us experienced us dying at 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, but we keep going. We keep going until our last one. And that seems plausible to me also because I feel like I should have died so many times already. I've had so many near death experiences. And what are your thoughts about that?
I'll call it a little bit contra to it, but like, I've wanted to die so many times. Like, I've wanted to. I've thought I had the courage. I'm gonna call it courage to commit suicide, and I just couldn't do it. But I'm like, fucking kill me, dude. And yes, we talked about in our drug episode, college days. I did so much cocaine. I should not be here. I've done so many things that I should not be here. Should not. But here I am. And I'll say, I mean, Sarah again would attest to this. Papa Bear might. Still trying to figure out where Monkey's from. Oh, I saw some more comments here. But no, so the attestment to, Sarah and a lot of my friends, they're like, you're just here, do what you have to do. But that's a big challenge to me. Why am I supposed to be this great person? Why? Fucking time. And for some reason, I keep ending up getting better. It's like this reverse curse. And I'm trying really hard not to complain. Like, I'm cool with living. I'm okay with it. But at the same time, I'm like, really? And I think that's part of the reason I don't believe in fucking God, because I'm going, how can I if you've let my ass live this long? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it is strange when you think about having all these near death experiences, and it's like, okay, I should have been dead there, I should have been dead there, and somehow you keep going, and why is that the case? And also there are 10, I guess there's something like around 10,000 different religious sects. So why would you think that yours is the one that's correct out of the 10,000? You know, when you hold this up to reason, logic, the scientific method, it does a lot of it just doesn't hold up.
Jose's coming back. Here, you say that again. Hey, Betty, could you grab me another beer? Sure, Josh. Please. I have to address this just because. Right away, Josh. I said please. I'll pay you. Well, I'm trying to keep the overlap of the recording happening. Thanks for watching. So I have to address the Dosh thing for Monkey here. My landlord misspelled my name from Josh to Dosh, and so it's become a joke around here that I'm now Dosh.
Okay, inside joke. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
What
So I'm
what
Dosh.
how did that happen?
It was the landlord's. He won't ever watch this. Thank you very much. The landlord's just lazy and doesn't know how to use. I mean, where's the D next to the J on the keyboard?
Yeah, it's not even. Yeah, it can't even be a typo. What's that guy's name? Dosh 2.0 or something? Remember that comedian?
Oh, Tosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Tosh 2.0.
Yeah.
He's still around.
Well, we got off again here because of that stuff. But thank you everybody for the questions. And Sarah, you again, I don't disrespect anybody that's a believer. I don't believe in the same things, and I think that's okay. Again, like Augie just said, Dr. Aug just said, there's all these other ways. What's wrong with yours versus mine? And wars, I mean, like the Crusades. My uncle called me on Thursday, right before Easter, and he goes, "I'll pick you up and take you to church." And I was like, "I don't do Easter. That's not my belief. It's not my thing."
I can never
I've been.
remember when it is. I always think it's in February, and then it comes around in April.
It could be any time of year because no one knows when it actually happened.
It's Easter. I thought that was February. Like people are always, oh, Easter's coming up. I thought that was February. Yeah, I can never. And my parents actually made a big deal out of Easter. They did. They would get us presents and stuff, and we weren't highly religious, but my parents like were real. They were into Christmas, and they were pretty into Easter also. Easter's always been like an afterthought to me. So okay. So Christmas is the death of Christ or the birth? What's Christmas? We're losing people.
We're losing your audio.
I'm thinking the Christmas is probably the birth of Christ, and Easter's probably the death. Is that right? Somebody correct me.
I'm gonna say Jesus was not born in December. He was born in the summer.
Yeah,
The Bible.
but as far as the way people celebrate it, though, I know it could
Well,
be
yeah,
inaccurate.
we were talking about this the other day. So Good Friday is actually a holiday. You get paid on Good Friday. You think Jesus thought Good Friday was a good day? He got fucking nailed to a cross that day. It's called Spring Break Day. Spring Break Day. Broke off a tree. And then Easter's like Zombie Day. So now you're telling me this dude got fucking hung from a cross and then lived and then died again? Like that? That's called like a gasp for air. Fuck off. Like, I'm sorry, I don't buy it. Um, I'm sorry, Sarah, too. I'm not trying to piss you off, but this is the way I believe things. So,
Resurrection. Okay, Easter is Christ's resurrection. Okay, so is Christmas when he died?
They say Christmas is when he was born, but
Oh, when he was
Easter
born.
happens
Okay.
in spring. And yes, the resurrection, but how long did the resurrection actually happen? It's thank you, sir. I love you so much, girl. She's one of my best friends, man. She's such a good and open-minded person. So, and I'm not trying to make anybody believe what I believe by any means. I'm just going. We're talking about real stuff that, but it. I think part of my problem with I'm going to switch it. Part of my problem with religion on all sides of any religion is if it tries to make you believe something, because that takes away your free choice. And in that sense, the Bible is contradictive because free choice is the only thing we actually have. But you're telling me I have to believe it or I'm wrong. Makes zero sense.
You know that we've had at least two black popes. We've had at least two black popes dating back to the Roman Empire. Isn't that crazy? Could
I
you
didn't know that.
imagine? Like they were talking about this. I was watching this thread. Like my dad and a friend of his, Lynn Burden, they used to write for the Valley Journal, local paper, and they were bringing it up. And he was like, "Oh, has there ever been a black pope?" And then he said, "Oh, it was Victor something the first." And then actually somebody said Victor something the first was the first. He was in Africa. He was from Africa, and he was a pope. And there was another black pope after that in like 400. I don't know, AD or BC or something. But, whenever the Roman Empire was. I mean, I think it's there was a process, and I think the Roman Empire started AD and then or started BC and then because a lot of people. Gosh, I don't know a lot about religious history. I have to look more into it. But I find it fascinating that there were two African popes. You think the next pope will be African?
Uh, I watch the PBS stuff, so that's where I get my news mostly, if I watch it. But it seems like a possibility. I don't see why it should make a difference what color you are if you believe in
It
certain
shouldn't, but I
something.
think that's awesome that was the case before. I think that's like, everyone made such a big deal about Barack Obama being the first black president, and that's as far as this country, that's a great step in the right direction. But there have already been two black popes. They obviously didn't care that much.
When again, I have a hard time depicting somebody for what they believe or what they follow. I mean, a cult is a cult. I think in some ways I used to think this way. It's just more of an asshole way of me thinking, but um, the largest cult in human history is Christians. Are Christians? Christianity.
It is not a
It,
cult. It is not a cult, man.
a cult is a smaller thing, right?
No, no, we are not a cult. We just we can never have sex with a woman, and we molest altar boys.
Oh my god! See uh, you have this thing where you can kind of like you tricked me for a minute. I was like, holy shit! Did I offend him?
You thought I was religious for a second? You got to go with me on that one. Yeah, you got to go
Well,
on that journey with me to me being religious.
it was the way you said we. I was like, who got him? Who got him? I mean, honestly, Augie, you should have been. You should have been. I don't like to shit on people, but You should have been the first Tom Green. I remember back in college when you went up to Telluride and interviewed for the MTV shit. Like that was right when
You
Tom Green.
remember that?
I
Wow, you're
remember.
like the only other person in the world. I
Fuck
can't
that, dude.
believe that. Thank you so
You,
much for remembering that.
dude, you were so original with your stuff, and you still are. I think that's why I asked you to do this with me, just because I
Thank you
know you're
so
gonna
much.
talk
You
your
know, it's
true.
funny. I fell asleep at whatever hotel that was in Telluride. Like, thank you so much for remembering that. Um, I was kind of like dozing off, and I had my video camera with me, and like all these people were like, they were walking by because they were still auditioning for the show or whatever, or they were just maybe just having a good time. It was around Christmas in Telluride, skiers or whatever, and like, hey, we should steal his video camera. We should steal his video camera. And I was pretending to be asleep, and I heard that, and yeah. Then the next day, I had to hitchhike out of there. I had to hitch. You know, this is prior to Uber and Lyft, and there weren't any cabs. And they had this bulletin board like at their radio station. So I went there and they're like, "Hey, go to that bulletin board at our radio station. See if you can get a ride." Nothing. So then I went to like the exit, whatever exit it was, because I'm trying to make it back to Durango, right? And this guy gave me a ride to like the top of the mountain, and there was this stump there. There was this stump, and I sat there, and then another guy gave me a ride. So don't you want to take your stump? No, no, I was just sitting there, and he drive me past like Rico. You know Rico, Colorado? It's near Telluride. It just like there's so small, and he dropped me somewhere where there was no traffic. There was no traffic at all. Hitchhiking again, and these two girls picked me up, and they drove me like a mile down the road. And I think they were thinking about raping me, which was one of them was wearing a cowboy hat, so that was a nice thought. But I didn't I didn't have any ability to. They were kind of laughing about it, and then finally a guy picked me up after like 3 hours standing there, and took me all the way to Durango, which was such a godsend. But that was I've had a lot of crazy experiences hitchhiking, but that was a mistake probably going and auditioning for that. But I wanted to do it. I wanted to be in. I've always wanted to be in media. And when this whole YouTube thing started, and all, I mean, I was just so excited about that because we were trying to. I was trying to figure out a way to upload videos, like even before YouTube existed. I mean, I've always been trying to do this, get these videos online, and it is frustrating to see all these people surpass you. These people get millions of subscribers, or I mean, we haven't even hit 1,000 here, but it's something I've been trying to do since the '90s. But I enjoy doing the show with you. I still enjoy it. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at all. You know what's weird though?
Well,
Like Tom Green. So we did a video shoot in Flagstaff. My dad and my friend Brad and I, when we did it at this restaurant, like this, I can't remember the name exactly. It was some Planet restaurant or something. And then Tom Green, like 2 years later, went to the same exact spot, the same exact restaurant in Flagstaff, and that made me think twice. I don't think he stole from us. I I've researched him, and I think he started his thing in Ottawa, Canada, like even before. But there's some weird synchronicity there. I just wish I had all those old videos. My dad threw them away. I literally brought the videos to his place in hopes that he would, keep them and make sure that they were okay because my wife wanted to throw them away. These high eight tapes that I wanted to get transferred back to the digital format or to the digital format, and he threw them away, and it was just absolutely devastating to hear that. Like I just couldn't believe it. I went to his place. I'm like, okay, where are my tapes? Where are my? Oh, I threw those away. I thought that was trash. You thought that was trash? I thought maybe you couldn't throw things away in Denver. People throw trash out their window in Denver onto the highway. What are you talking about? You thought we couldn't throw things away in Denver? People throw debris out their window all the time. This is one of the 10 most deadly cities in the country. You I brought those videos there for a reason because I wanted them to be safe. Throws them away, throws them in the dumpster. They're gone forever. But that's just why we got to create more, right?
At some point, the Bible was burned by the Nazis. All the books burned.
He's a Nazi.
I'm not saying you're a Nazi. I hope he's
I
not. But
am. I am. You don't have to say it. I am.
no, you're not. But no, I mean everything. Yeah, I mean, you talked about the universe never being able to end. Neither can a thought. Neither can a book. And I had this nowhere near the talent. Like I seriously, Augie. Like we all thought we were like when we saw Tom Green come out, we were like, that son of a bitch. How the fuck did he beat Dr. Og? And now I know why. And he had maybe some more resources, but like, dude, you have no idea. I used to get paid. I would bet my buddies money all the time because I was hitchhiking all the time between Albuquerque and Durango,
You
and
were
I needed.
hitchhiking too?
Huh?
You were hitchhiking too?
Oh, episode on hitchhiking.
We
I
have
don't want to
to.
get into.
Oh,
I
that's
have
another great one.
I have great detailed stories, and I'm sure you
Me
do too.
too.
But now, like, no one even knows what that is anymore, right? So anyway, my friends used to throw in money and be like, Nelson will do this, Beeb will do this for $5, $10. I think the most I ever made, I made $40 one time. Check this one out. I ate a live minnow at the lake. I I swallowed the fucking thing for $40. I
Damn.
could feel it going down my chest. It was still alive for $40. And then what sucked about it was later on they all learned like eventually I would do just about anything for money besides like sexual treats. But um, the next one was bite the head off the minnow, swallow it, and eat the other one. One time I drank a full bottle of hot ass salsa for like $10. I did all this fucking, and I needed the money. I really like the money helped
I don't
to
blame
pay
you.
for gas. And so at some point I was like, and there was always some fucking constraints that I wasn't allowed to vomit for the next hour. So like I had to hold it down. Um, it was stupid. Actually, my best friend Jay at my wedding, he was my best man. His toast was like thanking Elena that I would stop doing stupid shit now that I was married.
No, I think it's
Well,
however you
no,
can
I'm
make
sorry.
money, man, and it's hilarious.
But so my point was is though right after I did all that shit, Jackass came out. The Jackass series came out, and I was
Right.
like, "You motherfuckers!" And don't get me wrong, like there's a lot of shit that Steve-O did or all those guys. I would never do that for any amount of money, but they made millions off that, and I'm like, I started it.
Yeah.
I start. I didn't necessarily, but in my mind, I did. So
Yeah, and well, and I think what happens is people are like my friend once said it's like if you have a thought, there are seven other people having that exact thought at the same time, so you better act on it. And yeah, it's funny. My friend Michael, I was just talking about him. That really smart Jewish guy I was telling you about that wrote a book on the universe. He he's from Philadelphia, and I still follow him on Twitter. He's from Philadelphia. He's in his 70s now, and he lived in God, what's the name of it? Westchester, Pennsylvania, where Bam Margera and what's his name that died. He knew the one guy that died. Stewart knows him. Who's the guy that died in that car accident? He swallowed like a miniature car. But I remember Stewart brought him up on a Facebook post, like "Rest in peace, Dunn, Ryan Dunn, Ryan Dunn." My friend knew Ryan Dunn, so this guy maybe, he likes the younger guys, the younger ladies. Um, he befriended me. He befriended other young guys that worked there. So it doesn't surprise me that he would befriend a young Ryan Dunn. But he used to see this Ryan Dunn at a Burger King in Westchester, Pennsylvania. It's a small world in Westchester, Pennsylvania, and they would talk about, because they were both trying to get into media. And he said, "Oh, it'd be so fun to be an actor or be involved in media." And so he knew Ryan Dunn, and I even because I was a fan of Jackass, and I brought it up to him once, like before I knew all this, before Ryan Dunn died. I was like, "Yeah, oh, you're from Philadelphia, Westchester, because Bam Margera from Jackass is from Westchester." And he's like, "That's weird." Yeah, I live there. Um, and I've been through there. I mean, it couldn't. Have you ever been through Pennsylvania? It couldn't be more different than over here, or New Mexico. It's so different. It's sort
I
of the
mean, I've been.
suburbs of Philadelphia, but it's very different from here. I don't know how to explain it. Philadelphia is so different from here. The people are different. I don't know, but it was weird going through that area. No, I didn't go to Westchester, but kind of north of it. We're going to get this amazing animal. He's from Bronx, Pennsylvania, so he's like a Jackass guy near Lancaster, where the Amish are.
You're an Amish, Charlie. That's
Yeah, he's
okay.
Amish. He's so good.
He's a sweetheart.
Do you have anything else? Are you ready to call quits on this one? It's been 52 minutes.
Yeah, I think we could go a little bit more. I wanted to just thank the viewers. I know it's just a few,
Yeah.
Monkey, Papa Bear, and Sarah. Um, but Sarah, I wanted to address the cult thing again one more time. Again, my religious side is not about that. I am judgmental. I think we all are. But like I look at my dogs, and I am their god. They don't. Maybe they think something different. I think we are all our own gods in some ways, and even in the biblical sense, God is everything. God is everywhere. God is this. If that's the case, then we're all God. We're all a piece of God. And I did send that clip. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it because of the technical difficulties, but the movie Dogma. I encourage all of our viewers to watch that movie, Dogma, and just keep your mind open. I'm not saying don't be pissed at me for my beliefs. That's fine. Um, and again,
Keep
friends.
your mind open that life is closed. Just to cut you off real quickly, Sarah's aware of Ryan. She says he was so hot. So Sarah knows Ryan. I
Yeah,
hope Stuart watches this, because I know Stuart posted about that. Yeah, I knew a guy that a good friend of mine was friends with Ryan Dunn. Small world. Small world.
one and big universe and small universe.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
I've said this before. I'll end us with this. What are the chances that after 25 years, you and I are doing a podcast together? Like
And we will be way bigger than Jackass. The kids don't even know who Jackass is. But at the end of the day, when this is all over, they'll know who Coach Beeb is.
and Dr. Og, because watch. Oh, I have to share this. So, Primus, the band Primus, and A Perfect Circle are going to be here on Sunday night in Albuquerque, and I'm thinking about going.
You got to go. You got to go.
my sister wants to go with me, and she's like, "We'll get an Uber, we'll get you a wheelchair, and we're going backstage, and you're gonna have fun." And I'm like,
That's
"Shit,
badass. You got to do it. You got to do it.
$40 a ticket, dude. Why not?"
Do it, my friend. And take Sarah. It sounds like
Oh,
Sarah wants to go.
Sarah, do
Take
you and
Sarah.
Sarah?
I've got to use the restroom. I've got to use the restroom. Good night.
All right, hold on. Let me ask Sarah before we go. Bring your husband and your son, and we'll all go together. It'll be fun. We'll take an
That's
Uber.
awesome.
Oh no, you can drive because you're sober. All right. Yes, me going out. Take your piss, Augie. Good show.
Have a
Dude.
great night. Have a
Talk
great night,
to you.
everybody. Thank you so much.